Ladies and gentlemen, the anniversary message of Honorable Carlos Jericho L. Petilla, Governor, Province of Leyte.
Monsignor Gilbert Orbina, my long-term neighbor, ASEC Domingo Carbonell, Major General Romeo Alamilio, His Excellency Mark Inez Brown of the Embassy of Australia, Minister Ono Shono, General Jaime de los Santos, R.D. Jason Capoy, I saw him earlier, Colonel Rico Amaro, Joel Joseph Cabidis of the BFP, Mayor Martin Petilla, to all the board members, to the mayors, department heads, the national agencies, to the veterans, again, guests and visitors, a pleasant good morning to all of us. Good morning. We gather once again on this sacred ground where history itself turned its tide, where valor met destiny, and where freedom reclaimed its rightful place. 81 years ago, the shores of Leyte bore witness to one of the most decisive moments in human history: the return of the liberty of our land through the courage and sacrifice of countless heroes, both Filipinos and Allied forces alike. Today, as we commemorate the 81st Leyte Gulf Landings anniversary, we do so with deep reverence and gratitude. The theme, Freedom Prize, Honoring the Past, Protecting the Future, reminds us that freedom was never free. It was bought with blood, sacrifice, and unfaltering resolve. And it is our solemn duty to safeguard that hard-earned freedom for the generations that will come after us. Last year, we never seemed to run out of wars. Last year, our guest of honor was Secretary Gilbert Chudoro, and he talked about our problem in the West Philippine Sea. Today, we have another war. We are faced with a new kind of war. The uncontrollable flood control fund scam. That is so much publicized now, and the extent of the scandal is staggering, appalling, and to some extent embarrassing. The reputation of the government is tarnished, and the confidence of the people on their government has been significantly eroded. You know, people sometimes ask, Governor, do you have flood control fund? I said, I do not. Why? Let me give you a little bit of perspective. We have 81 governors, almost 1,500 mayors, and about 90,000 barangays in the entire Philippines. Those 81 governors have board members. The mayors have councilors. We have employees, thousands of them. And then the barangays, they're all over. They all have problems. In the national budget of 2025, 6.3 trillion is the budget. The budget of the entire local government unit, all the 81 governors, all the 1,500 mayors, all the 90,000 barangays, our budget is about 1 trillion. And the budget of DPWH is also 1 trillion. Can you imagine? And then we get to do all the work, and we're expected to do all the work. The question that lingers to most people, not only the locals, but even amongst the diplomatic corps, the question is, will we, the Filipino people, get justice are people going to be punished and sanctioned? We commemorate the Leyte Gulf landings if only to remind us that war should be avoided and should never happen again. The Leyte Gulf landing was the biggest naval war in the history of the world. It is our hope that there will never be another war bigger than the Leyte Gulf landings. We Leyteños will never get tired of commemorating this date, if only to remind us that we should never have another great war. In the case of the flood control scam, it is also our fervent hope, and we pray to God that the sanctions will be put in place. Otherwise, it will happen again. And just like any war, it should never happen again. If they go unpunished, our forefathers who fought and died 81 years ago in this land where we are standing right now would probably rise from their grave, if only to tell us, are you worth dying for? With all the sacrifices they did, are we really worth dying for? Now, the LGUs, we have to do our own little way if we are to avoid further war and corruption. In the province of Leyte, we have been meeting for the past 4 weeks. What can we do? Because we cannot be just standing by. And we decided, at least in the province of Leyte, that to prevent similar scams that have happened in the national level, we have implemented in all our infra projects the time-lapse system. And this actually basically is applicable to all our infra projects. In other words, we're not saying there's corruption that's going on right now in the local level, but why wait? We implement the time-lapse to make sure that we review every project that we have down to the last inch. The time-lapse that you're seeing in the screen right now are actually going to be submitted to us on a daily basis. It will be uploaded. Our engineers will review them, and as we speak right now, we're actually coming up with an artificial intelligence to detect if the specs of the project is actually being implemented. In this case, we will avoid substandard and we will avoid ghost projects because the amount that has been actually stolen is so big that it can go to the veterans, it can go to health, it can go to education, it can go to a lot of things. So it's an unforgivable crime, and we should never allow it to happen again. The national government is embattled. It's time for local government to step up and help in any way we can. As we look toward the future, may this commemoration not only serve as a remembrance, but also as renewal. A renewal of our collective pledge to keep Leyte and the Philippines strong, united, and free. Let us continue to build a province and a nation that our heroes would be proud of. One that values peace, progress, and the dignity of every Filipino. In honoring the past, let us protect our future. With faith in our people, hope in our destiny, and love for our country. Mabuhay ang Leyte, mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Maupay nga aga haton nga tanan.